This is a story I want you guys to listen to. The Mac 10 Bronzer that was just announced as the new #1 lowest float skin in the game has already been sold. And it's not sold to anyone, it's sold to Dennis. He's actually the old owner of the M249 Gator Mesh. And now he has purchased the new #1 float Mac 10 Bronzer. And there is a little bit of drama surrounding that. This skin is quite literally 1 in a billion. It's a level up reward from a Radiant collection. You get it from the weekly drop. And the fact that it's the #1 lowest float skin in the entire game, I'm not even sure if this is gonna happen again for a very, very long time. How much did it sell for? A lot of people is probably wondering. Well, that's where the little bit of drama comes into play. It got sharked 07. This clip was brought to you by Skins Monkey. Trade your skins on Skins Monkey to change up your loadout because you get a 35% deposit bonus if you use code Anomaly. You also get up to $5 free for your first trade. So use the link in the description to start trading now because it's really easy for you to get new skins if you don't like your old ones. Just look how quick that trade was. And thank you once again Skins Monkey for paying for the clip's channel editors. People are wondering, like, how are you so sure? He says he talked to the buyer and the person that offered the 27K. So apparently he had offer of $27,000, but still sold it for much, much, much less. He had two offers. The first offer was a Dragon Lore factory new, which is right now around 13.5K. Other offer was apparently $27,000. Now, for whatever reason, the guy chose to trade it with a guy, Dennis, who offered a Dragon Lore. Dragon Lore, which is 13.5K or whatever, obviously significantly less than 27,000. But the guy with the Mac 10, he just sent a counter offer to the Dragon Lore trade and added Karambit worth like $700 or something to the trade. And then Dennis accepted and boom, now he has the world's lowest float skin. #1 skin in the game got sharked. Let me explain. After being discovered, a lot of collectors and people from the scene added the unboxer, including Dennis, old owner of the #1 M249 Gator Mesh. Dennis sent a trade offer with an FND lore to the unboxer. At the same time, Rex offered 27K in items. The unboxer counter offered Dennis trade with a $700 Karambit on top, and Dennis accepted. The unboxer was aware of both offers before accepting anything, as he shared the 27K offer with multiple people. What does sharking mean? What does it mean to be shark? I think it's more like when it's a very unfair deal and you're like feeding false information or purposefully hiding information from someone who has a skin. In the same way, I wouldn't say this is sharking either, because the guy was aware of the 27K offer. We have no idea why he chose to accept it, but we know that he was aware of the 27K offer. It's like if I wanted to sell this dealer and I have one offer for 8K that I comprised of skins that I really, really, really like, or I have an offer for 11K, but it's some items I really don't like. Am I stupid for taking the cheaper offer? A little bit, because you could get more money, but at the same time, it's your choice, right? Not a shark, in my opinion. You can't really shark an item that doesn't have a set price. This is also true. Like this one, 13K, this price is like set in stone. Everyone knows it. But for something like #1 float item, it's worth what someone is willing to pay for it. That's true. 10K USD is still a shit ton of money, and if both sides consider that a fair offer, they did the deal, and that's all. Yeah, and it was like closer to 14K. Dragon Lore looked more convincing to him than $27K in items. That's on him, I guess. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Hence, the shark would only be sharking if he was pressured into accepting or any information was hidden from him. Exactly. Is it a low offer compared to previous sales of #1 skins? Yeah, but it's also a skin that has a really small market. Would I buy this for 27K? Hell no. I would have gotten my friend to pay up to like 23, 25K. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. I'm just confused why the guy who unboxed it chose to accept the offer that was almost half price. This was in May, right? So pretty recent. Now, 3 days ago, the #1 overall skin has sold today. Dennis sold it. Apparently it sold for $45,000. So, now there's a lot of drama because people are saying, oh, the Dennis guy, he sharked him because he bought it for such a low price and then he sold it for this much, whatever, right? The guy opened it, he got a bunch of offers, and he accepted the one he liked the most. Then Dennis, a couple months later, decides to sell it, and he gets a lot of profit. I can see why some people are saying, it's not fair, whatever, and I can see why people say W business, like good trade, whatever. I will say, Dennis probably has way better connections with people who are interested in float stuff than someone like the guy who opened it, so he has a much better chance of getting a higher price. Also, the guy had higher offers, but he decided to go with the one he wanted, and what I guess was the skin he either really dreamed about having, or a skin that he knew he could sell easily. I don't know. Unboxer of the new #1 lowest float skin in CS was a Chinese guy that didn't believe the 28,000 offer he got. Okay, I'm not sure if it was 28. Damn, so it was a Kato capsule. Yeah, people are saying the Kato capsule's 28k. To sell that for 28k, it's so difficult, bro. It's not just like you list it and sell it the next day. Few hours later, he traded it for 13,000. There were people telling him that it's worth more in the comments. Can't really blame anyone but him at this point, which is true. If it was a Kato capsule, arguably that's worth more than the dealer. But maybe he didn't know that it was actually worth that much. Maybe he didn't do his own research. Like, people act like the unboxer of the Mac 10 is a vegetable. For me, this trade wasn't really fair. I can also see it from the perspective of this is not a normal skin. This is super non-liquid. If I was Dennis, I would have contacted and paid the guy more. But most people getting mad, I guarantee you, they're mostly mad because they missed out on the opportunity. So, guys, what do you think? Who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Now we at least know that this one is worth about 45k, which is similar to the last sold price of the #1 skin, which was 50k. OG's fault for not knowing his product. I kinda think so. Win-win, both get money. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. One of the tweets mentioned how the buyer promised to share some of the profit. Only the seller and Dennis knows the truth. I even do some trades when I buy stuff that's not liquid. This one, I also bought from a guy for a cheap price, but otherwise I wouldn't have bought it because it's just too risky. I don't know exactly what it's gonna sell for. So I tell the guy, okay, I'll give you like large amount of the value of the skin, but still nowhere near my regular rates. When I then end up selling this one, whether it be for $10,000 or $15,000, for it to be fair, I'll send you a set decided percent of the value I sell it for. The money I get, we share. It's basically like a consignment, but with a prepayment. Because then I'm safe. I don't care how much this sells for. If I bought this one for like 8,000 and then I sell it for 16,000, is that fair? No. I'm selling it for double. I want it to be fair. For me, buying and selling skins, it's a very fun hobby. It's not my main source of income. It's just a very fun hobby I'm passionate about that I've had for over 10 years now. But yeah, to summarize things, I think the situation is complicated. Only the seller and the buyer knows exactly what their deal was. I'm just a spectator commenting on what I've seen that people are talking about.